Can you see what I see? We have 2-week-old Australian Labradoodle puppies, and in today's video we're going to see if they can see yet, because at 2 weeks this is when most often we see our puppies open their eyes. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and our little Petite Poinsettia puppies are now 14 days old. And in today's video we're going to be talking about getting your house ready to welcome your puppy, and we're going to be talking about choosing a name for your puppy. And of course we're going to do a little update on Mama Labradoodle Mandy, as well as go through the puppies, their birth weights, and we'll see who has their eyes open. So last week when we were doing our video, we were talking a bit about Mandy not being completely settled into her role. And now we are finding this week she is much more comfortable. So really all this was as we spoke about last week, is a hormone shifting experience. When girls' hormones are shifting after they've given birth, sometimes they go through a period of time where they're a little bit restless, they're a little bit out of sorts, and they don't do the most thorough job at being a mummy. Now that the hormones are back in balance, which really is just a matter of time more than anything else, Mandy settled right into her role. Now, Mandy also enjoyed a visit from her guardian dad, which she really enjoyed. He's coming back again to see her on Wednesday, and I know that she'll enjoy that visit too. Sometimes people wonder, when a girl sees her family, does that upset her when they leave? And yeah, usually they go, "Oh, really? Are you leaving? Why don't you stay?" Of course, they'd love to have their family here with them, but in a very short matter of time after they've left, then it's out of their minds. Dogs live in the moment. They don't hold grudges, and while they do have memories and things from the past do influence them, it's not in the same way that it is for people. So things like that are things that they do just live in the moment for. So it's totally fine. She really loves seeing her family, but she doesn't get distressed when they leave. Now, Mandy's still not eating quite as much as I would like her to eat. She's eating sort of the minimum. The puppies are doing okay with their weight gains and everything, but I would be happier if she would eat a bit more. But these, kind of like the leading a horse to water. I can't force her to eat more. She's eating what she's comfortable with, and I always think that the dogs know a lot more than I do. I try to focus on learning from them and understanding what they're telling me, as opposed to the other way around. So I'm not going to mess with it. We continue to offer her more than she eats, and when she says I've had enough, well, then she's had enough, and we just leave it at that. She does like a lot of variety in her meals, so I do have some things on hand that I don't normally have for our other dogs. Of course, they are the world's most expensive options. They come from New Zealand, and that's the reason why they're more expensive, is just the shipping cost. And then I actually ordered, and should be arriving today or tomorrow, another couple of new things to try for her too, just because she really does seem to crave that variety. And then, she'll like it, and you give it to her a few times, and then it's like, oh yeah, I've had enough of that. So I order everything in really small quantities. ALDs are famous for not having a strong food drive, and one thing that is really key when you are feeding them is that you do provide that variety, because they do get bored, some more than others. Mandy probably gets bored more easily than most of our other dogs. Definitely, if you had Peanut, you could feed her the same thing every day and she wouldn't care, as long as you fed her. But Mandy would just stop eating, and she'd be really miserable. Obviously, she would never starve herself, but she wouldn't be enjoying things. So overall, I'm really happy with how she's doing. The puppies are quieter now as they're more relaxed and more able to feel secure that mom's here. They're all starting to walk, which is a nice early development. They're actually quite good on their feet already. Good thing they're small because this area is quite tiny. We have our other 2 litters in the doodle den. Normally they would have started going home this coming weekend. However, we don't release our dogs just before the holidays, and especially before big days such as Christmas. We keep them until after, because there's no way we want our puppies to be going home into that frantic environment. And it's no fun to be enjoying a big holiday event such as a Christmas day when you have to worry constantly about a brand new puppy. So those puppies aren't going home until for another 2 weeks. So I'm really hoping that Mandy and her puppies will be comfortable here until they are past the 3-week stage, because I'd rather move them and just move them once. If we move them into the doodle den before the other 2 litters go home, then we'll have to shift them when they're in there so that they're in a better spot. But anyways, we'll work it out. Whatever it is, it will be, and everybody will survive. It's more convenient for the humans than anything else, I think. So what have the puppies been doing this past week? Well, they have been enjoying having their mom a little bit more attentive. We have turned the temperature down now. They're better able to regulate their body temperature. They can pee on their own now. Pooping still requires help from mom. Sorry, did you want to get up and go now? They are, as I said, starting to walk around a bit. And we are going to see shortly if they've opened their eyes. So if you've watched our videos, you'll know the reason why puppies are born with their eyes and their ears sealed shut is to protect them from too much stimulation when their nervous system is not yet ready to handle that. So it's nature's way to protect them from being overstimulated, if you will. And that's why they don't all open their eyes and their ears at the same time. Now, once they have their ears, or their eyes open rather, their ears can follow almost immediately after, or they can take another week to 10 days before they open up. And I can see already that red collar girl's ears are starting to open. I noticed yesterday and today when I'd come in, I could see her head moving a bit. And I was thinking, oh, is it coincidence? But I can see looking at her ear now that she does have it slightly opened, which means that she is starting to hear some sounds already. Now, when the puppy's eyes open, you'll see that they're all blue. All ALD puppies are born with blue eyes. They will not have blue eyes as adults. Blue eyes in an ALD is a fault. It is not something that we want to see. It's pretty, but it usually indicates there are some issues. Blue eyes are associated with albinism, and so that is one of the reasons we don't want to see that. A unique and interesting eye color that pops up once in a million is green eyes. Those are really pretty, but they are also very unusual. So these puppies will all have eye color similar to Mandy's, which is a hazel. The party puppies will have a lighter hazel color to them, and the caramel and apricot puppies will have a darker kind of hazel color. Red collar girl will have eyes that are almost the exact same color as Mandy's. So the eye color, and whether it's light or dark, tends to be dependent on the color of coat around the eye. So in the parties, when we have a lighter color, then we tend to have the slightly lighter colored hazel eyes. Dogs who have black noses have darker eyes, closer to the very dark brown color. Brown and liver nosed dogs tend to have the hazel and lighter colored eyes. So this week, what have they been doing? Well, they have been learning how to use their limbs, as you could see Red Collar Girl showing you an example there. Now, last week when you were looking at the puppies, they didn't have that strength in their legs. Now they're able to get up. They're a little bit tottery. And now that their eyes are opened, they'll be able to see a bit to negotiate where they're going. However, when their eyes first open, really all they see is blurs. They see blobs. So for instance, if their eyes were open right now and they're looking at me, they would just see this big mass. They wouldn't be able to distinguish my facial features. And at this point, they're not even able to ascertain that, oh, that's a human mass and that's my mom over there. By next week, they will. Their visual acuity does improve rapidly. Dogs' visual acuity never matches people's. The time that their eyesight is superior to ours is in low light or darkness. Dogs can see in the dark, whereas we can't. But they do not ever see as clearly as we do. And they don't see the whole spectrum of colors as we do. So primary colors are often challenging for them. Orange and red, for instance, they don't see. And so if you have a brightly colored ball that's really easy for you to see, a bright orange fluorescent neon type of ball, and you throw it on your lawn, unless it's the summertime and you're on Vancouver Island and your lawn is dead and brown. If your lawn's green, your dog's not going to be able to distinguish the ball on the lawn because the color is all the same for that. So you're not going to have your dog able to run right to an object that they can see. Now, the other thing we're going to talk about today is starting to get ready to take your puppy home. So this week for all of our families, you're going to get a video that's going to give you some helpful, I hope helpful, tips about that. And what we want you to start to do is walk around your house and start to puppy proof it. So just do this the same as you would if you were baby proofing or crawling baby proofing your house. You want to look out for your electrical cords. If your puppy is going to be in your family room, for instance, in the evenings and watching TV, do you have a bunch of cords for your TV, your cable boxes, your Xboxes, and so forth that the puppy can get to? If so, you need to figure out how to contain those, get those out of the way, wrap them, whatever you need to do, block them off. You also want to be sure you find a nice place for all your remotes that's really high, at least 3 feet off of the ground, preferably 4 feet. And get yourself into the habit of putting your remote and your cell phone up into those areas. If you'd like to do any sort of reading or crafting in the evenings, I knit, make sure you have a spot that's high up to put all of those things as well, because your puppy will eat a book, your puppy will eat your phone, your puppy will eat your knitting if you knit or you crochet, whatever you might do in the evening. So make sure you find spots that are cleared off and that you can put all these things on, and start doing that now so that by the time your puppy comes home, your behavior has changed to accommodate your puppy. Also, take some time and figure out if there's areas you don't want your puppy to go that you're going to have as dog-free zones. If you've got kids, make sure you start teaching your kids to close the door to their rooms at all times now. Because I don't care how great your kids are and how many times they say, yes, I will, yes, I will. You know they're going to leave something on the floor. And chances are it's going to be something expensive, like the controller for their Xbox, the Xbox itself, their tablet, whatever it might be. So it's just easier, generally speaking, to have your kids get accustomed to closing their bedroom door. If you have a walk-in closet without a door, you might want to also consider closing your bedroom door during the day so your puppy doesn't wander in there. You'll need to also figure out what door to use for your dog to go in and out of to go to the bathroom. Now, all of this is kind of serious stuff, but you can get it done as a family think it all through, walk it through, figure it out, and then you get to do the fun stuff, and that's pick a name for your puppy. Now Mandy's name is actually not Mandy, it's L'Amande, which means almond in French, and that's because her line is full of nut names. We've got peanut, we've got hazelnut, we've got all sorts of nutty names, yes. And so we wanted to keep with that nut theme, but L'Amande is not exactly a name you're going to call your dog every day. So that's how she has Mandy as her nickname, or her everyday call name. So think about what's a name that has some special meaning to you. You might want to do something that's in relation to the litter, something to do with Petites, Poinsettias, something to do with Australia. And you can see how well Black Collar is walking around there. He is completely mobile. He is entirely coordinated. I get Mandy to get out of the way. No, of course not. When I want her to not be here, she insists on staying. Here, we'll get him to walk back over to his mom again. You can see Red Collar's trying, and she's doing a great job, but she falls over. Black Collar is doing really well. He has been the best walker throughout this week. Back to names. The other thing to keep in mind is try not to choose a name that is really popular. Because if you're out somewhere with your dog and you call Lucy, you're gonna get like 10 or 15 dogs responding to you. And the other thing is, if your dog's name is Lucy and you're in puppy school and there's 4 Lucys, it's really hard for your dog to understand that that sound is unique for them. If you give them a name that's not a popular or common name, it's way easier for them to get their name recognition. So see if you can find something that isn't one of the more common names. Lucy, Finn, Coco, all of these things, Gracie, Sadie, these are all Hershey, really common names that we hear for ALDs. Now, I don't know what the more common names are for other breeds of dogs, but those are the sort of more popular ALD type of names. So try and think of something that relates to you, has a special meaning for you, maybe a connection to Vancouver Island, whatever means something to you, something that's easy to say, easy to remember, easy to spell. And we have a dog going home from Joya's litter, for instance, and they named their puppy Kiwi. I love that name. Cute, easy to say, 2 syllables, easy to shorten and make nicknames out of, easy to spell, simple for kids to say, not common, and has that link to Australia. So that's a really good example of what I consider to be an excellent name choice. Now, if your favorite name in the world is Lucy, Gracie, Finley, go right ahead. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to name your dog. Just be aware that there are some challenges that come with that. So we'll be sending you a video that goes into a little bit more detail on this, about getting ready to welcome your puppy and how to get your home set up. And now let's take a look at the puppies and their current weights. And we're going to start with the blue collar boy, who's right here. Hi, Blue. Hi, handsome. And let's see. Are you going to share? Yes, you are. Look at those eyes. He has his eyes open for you. And you can see his right eye is more open than his left eye. Now, I can tell you that first thing this morning, his left eye wasn't opened at all, and his right eye was just a slit. So by the end of the day, this beautiful apricot puppy is going to have both of those eyes fully open. And Mr. Blue is today 585 grams. Next, we have our athletic boy here, Mr. Black Collar. Hi, handsome. And Mr. Black Collar does have his eyes open. He was the first puppy to open his eyes. And Mr. Black is also an apricot. He just happens to be a party. Hi. Now, because Mr. Black has a lot of white on his face, chances are his eyes are going to be the lighter hazel color that I was talking about earlier. Hi. And Mr. Black is 714 grams. So he was the first one to open his eyes. He's the first one to walk well on all fours. And he is our biggest puppy. So he is top of the class for all sorts of things this week. Oh, Miss Red. Miss Red is quite a chatterbox this week, I have to say. She's very talkative. Here, you come sit on my lap. Next we have Mr. Green Collar. I just have to find here. Mr. Green is behind me here. Here. Red is trying to tell you something, I think. Here is our little handsome boy. And this is our pretty caramel party boy. And he does not have his eyes open yet. He says, nope, I am not ready to look at that great big bad world. Oh my goodness, Miss Red. Here, you come up here with me. Mr. Green is our smallest puppy still, and he is 525 grams. So he's quite a bit different from Black, who's 714 grams. Okay, shh, 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 shh. Now, can you be okay by yourself for a sec? Because it's not your turn yet. Yeah. Now we have Yellow Collar Boy. See, Mandy does this in and out, drives them all crazy. Hello, Yellow. Yellow is another beautiful caramel puppy, and look at here, we don't have open eyes. We are waiting as well to see the world. These ones are getting really close, so are greens. I would say probably tomorrow we're going to see eyes opening with these two. And Yellow Collar Boy is 657 grams. Then we've got Orange Collar. Oh, shush, shush, shush. Here we go. Make sure I get the right one here. Hi, Orange. Orange Collar. Here we go. I know Orange Collar does have his eyes open. He's just asleep right now. You're not going to show them to it. Can I open your little eyes, handsome? Usually if I bug them on their faces, they'll show them. No. He says, I'm not going to cooperate. Well, his eyes are open. I know they are. I have seen them with my own eyes, but I guess he just doesn't want to wake up right now. Orange Collar is also a caramel party. Very handsome boy. And he is 693 grams. And then last but not least, we'll get to our chatterbox here. Oh my goodness, I tell you, Miss Red is always giving her Mama Posy a hard time. Her eyes are open. She is also not wanting to show them right now, but they are open. Hey, you've been talking enough. You should show your eyes off. Nope, doesn't want to cooperate. Oh well, what a very difficult girl you are. She says, all I want to do is hide and go and find my mummy's milk bar. Are you hungry? Miss Red is 672 grams. And like I said, she is the talkative one this week. Oh my golly. Whenever she figures that Mandy should be sitting down and spending time with her, she doesn't hesitate to let Mandy know. I think Mandy stopped listening though, haven't you? Yeah, everybody's talking right now. You've got them all excited by coming in. They think it's going to be feeding time. So that's our update for this week. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or any comments, anything you would like me to talk about in the litter update videos, please just post it in the comments below. If you've got questions, I'm always happy to answer whatever you have on your mind. Nothing's more fun than talking about Australian Labradoodles. So we thank you for watching, and we hope we see you again next week. We might be from here, we might be from the Doodle Den. We'll just wait and see how the puppies do over the next week. See you next week.